Hi, I'm Dana. Welcome to Tools and Tips to Own Your Worth. I appreciate you stopping by. If you are new to this channel, I hope that this episode rings for you and you decide to like it or subscribe. Most importantly, if it makes you feel good or makes you think, I'd love for you to share it with somebody else, because my whole point to this entire YouTube channel is to get the word out and help people to live a healthier and more peaceful life. My goal is for everybody to understand how important and special you are, and that you just can own your worth. I just want you to own your worth. To those of you that have been around for a while, thank you so much for subscribing and continuing to watch the videos. Today's topic is fearing the unknown, being changeless in an ever-changing world. So we have a tendency to fear that which we do not know. It's an ego thing. Our ego tries to protect us, and in order to protect us, it tries to help us plan things. Unfortunately, our ego is insane, and it's not an effective tool to helping us plan anything. And what we end up doing is making up all these stories, right? And like, oh my God, how many times have you catastrophized something and spent time upset and it hasn't even happened yet? So I thought it would be fun to give you some tools that I use to keep myself in the present and to help myself remember that there is absolutely no reason to fear the unknown. We should embrace it. We should be trusting that the universe has our back, and the universe is looking to help us live our very best life, and we are loved and supported in all that we do, so we don't have any fear. No fear necessary. I've heard many people, both in my personal life and through my occupation, profess to hate change. And I understand that and I respect it. Change can be extremely difficult. And I did an episode a little while ago about the power of words and how even in the darkest moments of our lives, there's light. There's always good things. And if we keep that in mind, it makes change a lot less scary. And one of my favorite quotes is being changeless in an ever-changing world. So I was going to share a few tools, but the first one I'm going to share with you is one that I used when my children went from adolescence to adults. Those of us that have chosen to have children or be around children that we love and let into our hearts have a hard time when they become adults, and we just hope and pray that they make the high vibrational healthy decisions for themselves, but we have no control over that. So the best thing to do again is manage ourselves. So if you could please squeeze your hands, digging your fingers, the tips of your fingers, if you have nails, it's a little bit easier, into your palms. Squeeze for a little bit. I'm gonna just have you, so you're kind of white knuckling it, if you will. And then what I'd like you to do is start to release the squeeze. And just, you can wash your hands as you start to release the squeeze. Your thumbs will open up quite naturally, but I would like you to recognize what happens. It's incredibly difficult for you to open your fingers, right? Like, you gotta really work at it, and it just doesn't feel good. It feels horrible. Each of your knuckles lets you know what you just did. It's quite the tool. But why did I have you do that? When we are trying to control things so that they don't change, or when we are stuck in that catastrophizing mindset of, I don't want it to change, I'm afraid. This is our afraid hands. See this? These are your afraid hands. And what happens when you try to unravel your fear? You've spent so much time and done such a good job feeding incorrectly the thoughts of fear that you can't get your dang fingers open. So I like to use that tool when I am thinking about something that I love or something that is super important to me, but I'm trying really hard to not fear it and not go outside my locus of control. Each person, going back to my example, has the ability to live their lives however they choose to live their lives as adults. So I've been squeezing my hands a lot in the last 2 or 3 years since my children started becoming adults. Around finances, that's another thing, you know, like, don't fear the unknown. Money is fluid. Like, stay in the now. Just focus on the now. Another tool or another area is COVID. You know, what can you control and what can't you control with COVID? There's no reason to fear it. Stay in where you know to be, where you want to be, and then just work to not fear anything that's outside of that. So change is a constant. Our bodies are constantly changing. We're changing over cells all the time. Our hair and nails are growing. You know, day turns to night, night turns to day, seasons change. Change is all around us, and it is here to stay. So the tools that I have used in my life to really help me just become as fluid as I can be with change is, number one, I use that hand tool a lot to remind myself I do not want the fear to be paralyzing. Number two is to remind myself that being fluid, just going with it and trying really hard to not plan for my plan is healthier, because it keeps me inside my body and it keeps my energy inside my body. And the third tool I use a lot is just really talking down that fear. You know, challenge the fear with rational thought. And most of the time, it will work. It will keep you a little bit calmer. And that's the goal, right? So I hope that this resonates with you, and I hope that you all can use these tools to become changeless in an ever-changing world. Thanks for stopping by, and until next time, namaste.